Derek Carr is officially no longer a Raider. We have finally released him, cut him, however you want to say it, whatever terminology you want to use. And we're going to save it in the long term. But before we get into the details, I want to kind of address this from a fan perspective because I know I'm a content creator. I know I should be putting all the details and all that stuff out. But at the same time, I'm a Raiders fan. And I just want to say thank you to Derek Carr for the consistency at the quarterback position. Now, yes, there was some ups and downs with Derek Carr, but at the end of the day, he represented the nation well. He represented the Shield. And I mean, there was a long period of time there to where I feel like we didn't need to worry about the quarterback spot. And we did screw up along the way. I mean, you talk about some draft picks that we shouldn't have picked up, like Cleveland Farrell, Carl Joseph. It goes on, Garyon Conley, all these players that we could have built a defense to help Derek Carr, and it just didn't work out. This past season, we know we got Devontae Adams for him, still didn't work out, and he's going on season 10, and it was time to move on. But with that being said, I just want to say thank you to Derek Carr. Shout out to him. And now let's get into the details because the Raiders, like I said, release cut Carr. He's no longer a Raider. He's no longer going to be part of Raider Nation. And I don't know any person, any one man that divided the nation any more than Derek Carr. And now that he's gone, I feel like it's a breath of fresh air. It feels like we could finally move on and we could look at new things. We could finally take that look. We could finally cut that corner and say, okay, are we going to take that quarterback in the draft? Because we know it's empty. We don't even have Jarrett Stidham on the roster. And you know damn well we're not going to be looking at Chase Garbers. So with that being said, who are we going to be looking at? And we're going to talk about how the fact letting go of Derek Carr affected the team. As far as the cap, as far as what we could do in the draft, as far as what we could do in some trades in this free agency market, and who's available, right? Everybody's been talking about Aaron Rodgers, speaking of free agency. Although he's not a free agent, he might as well be because it's already been talks of him and the Packers have a good relationship as far as him moving on and being traded. Now, we know that Aaron Rodgers goes to get high off of whatever he does. You know, I ain't discriminating, but he goes to do his thing in a cave somewhere for however long he does it to make a decision on whether he wants to play football or not. Now, to me, that's kind of weird, but at the same time, you got to do what you got to do. And are we going to invest a lot into a person like this, into a football player like this, who's at the end of their career, who's contemplating a retirement, and at the same time, his cap hit eventually will be $40, $50 million. Now, in my past videos, I've talked about this, said it a bunch of times. Is it worth getting Aaron Rodgers? Yeah. Yeah. If he throw like a third round pick and maybe adjust that contract, yeah, it would definitely be worth it. But now, if you want to throw a first rounder and Darren Waller and then like a 2024 second round pick, that's too much. That's too much. It's starting to get out of hand. When you start to give up high day one draft picks, we start to give up high quality football players. That is too much. Like I said, for a guy that could retire here in the near future. Now, with that being said, he may get paid a lot, but we saved a lot by getting rid of Derek Carr. Derek Carr was going to be a $35 million cap hit. We have to take on five of that. We have to take on five of that regardless. But 30 of that in the short term, 30 of that this upcoming season will be given back to us. We'll not have to pay him that. So we'll save in that manner. But when you talk about the long term, it's about 120 million based on the contract that was written up for Derek Carr. So we do save in the long run. Now, back to the options of quarterback. With that money being saved, could you imagine using that on the defense? Using that money on the defense, using most of your draft picks on the defense, and then using, say, next year's first round pick, this year's first round pick, and maybe something else to throw in there in order to move up and get CJ Stroud. Now, it is said today that Jim Irsay, the you know Jim Irsay of the Colts, he's interested in Bryce Young. And if he's interested in Bryce Young and the Bears have the number one pick, we're going to have to keep a close eye on what's going to happen because the Texans and the Colts are going to be the two looking at the quarterbacks mainly. And right now it's Young and Stroud. Now, what does that leave for us? Will Levis, Anthony Richardson? Some people like Levis. Some people like Richardson. Me, I'm not in it for those guys. I think we definitely have to start looking at Stroud, most importantly, not Bryce Young. I wouldn't want to trade up for a small guy like that. CJ Stroud seems to have all the tools and the size that we would want, that everybody would want in their quarterback going into this next season. And if we can get him and we could use the rest of our resources like our cash flow, we won't have to pay a lot for a rookie quarterback. And then cash flow could go to the defense and maybe even pick up a veteran guard, right tackle. You see where I'm going with this? Now, I'm not the biggest fan of investing a lot into a quarterback before you fix the other issues that you have, such as the defense. Now we could go about this the same way, and instead of trading for your quarterback and giving up first round picks, you just go all out with the defense, and then you bring in a veteran quarterback or you bring back Jarrett Stidham. Because if you're going to keep Josh Jacobs, feed off of the run game. Don't depend so much on a quarterback. Don't have a system that is so quarterback dependent. No, have a team that's built on the defense and the run game. That'll solidify a lot of places on the team, solidify a lot of positions on the team going into the very next season. Then you can go all out for your quarterback and you won't have any problems because you fix the defense. You know, you have a run game and you have weapons out there for your quarterback to be supported. So, with that being said, y'all let me know what you guys think about Derek Carr being released. What is the future looking like and how should we move forward? Y'all let me know down in the comments. I appreciate y'all tuning in. Don't forget to hit that like button and check out Redemption Brand. Appreciate y'all being here, man. Until next time, rate the tape.